The Bhattacharya replied that there were only 3 days left before the ceremony. After thus encouraging the king, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya returned home. On the day of Lord Jagannath's bathing ceremony, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy at heart. Okay, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had given the plan to the king. King wanted to meet Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya said, I can't meet a king. They're all materialistic. That's just not, I'm a sannyasi, I can't do that. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, I have a plan. At the Rath Yatra, when he's very tired, he's going to sit in this particular garden. You dress yourself in simple clothes, go there and recite the 5 chapters of the Srimad Bhagavatam that deal with the Rasa Leela. And in that way, he will accept you as his servant. So Sarvabhauma asked, so when is the Rath Yatra going to happen? He said, the bathing ceremony is happening in just, what did it say? 3 days. Yeah, there were only 3 days left before the ceremony. After thus encouraging the king, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya returned home. On the day of Lord Jagannath's bathing ceremony, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy at heart. Upon seeing the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very happy. Have you ever been to one of those, Matthew? Bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath?
Not that I recall.
Oh, you'd recall. You'd remember.
I've been to like Krishna's birthday, Janmashtami, when they did bathing of the deities. That's what I remember about.
Yep, the Abhishek it's called. It's like a ritual ceremonial bathing. So Prita, have you been to a Snana Yatra? Snana means bath, okay. Anandi, have you been to one in New York?
I'm sorry, I'm eating my dinner. Can you just skip me for now?
That's fine. I'm just wondering if you've been to a Jagannath Snana Yatra.
For the bathing ceremony? No.
Okay. How about Premi Bhakta?
Yeah, a few times.
Oh, where at?
Chicago, Los Angeles.
Chicago. Oh, Chicago, they have small Jagannath deities.
Yeah, well,
And
they're sweet, though.
Yeah, it is. And the Rath Yatra, we just go right out the door and down to the beach. We just walk right out the temple. Yeah, that is really cool. You don't have to drive.
Well, the different years, they have different routes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they started going up and down Devon.
Yeah, they were doing that. And then for a while, they went downtown and just went around 4 blocks.
Uh-huh.
And then, but they weren't allowed to serve out any prasadam or anything. So I kind of like the Devon Street best myself.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you got quite the reception there.
And it goes on for a long time, ends up at a park.
Yep. But the bathing ceremony, the Snana Yatra, I was in Berkeley, which is New Jagannath Puri, and Lord Jagannath is on the central altar, and they're pretty good size, same as like in Los Angeles. And we had quite a ceremony. Man, it was so cool because they had decorated that altar. They fixed up the whole thing, Charu and Vaibhavi. It's too bad our Australians aren't here today. They could hear about the Australian team. That altar was decked out with marble and onyx, and they had beautiful altars for the deities. And they had even made the skylight over Jagannath. You could open it up and somebody went on the roof. And when they took the deities, Jagannath, off of the altar to take them down to the place where they would be ceremoniously bathed, someone was up above in the skylight showering flower petals down. And that was like just so cool because it was unexpected. Like, how's that happening? Because we only do it on that day. So Rath Yatra, Snana Yatra is really a big deal. And what I liked about it was everybody got a chance to go get in line and go up and pour things over Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra. I don't know what it's like in Puri, but the deities there are like, what, 8 feet tall? I mean, they're just like, they're really big and heavy. And so that must be some ceremony. And when this is going on, it just takes your mind away from all of the temporary things in this world. And you're looking at Jagannath smiling and Balaram and Subhadra, and they seem to be enjoying the whole thing. So Lord Chaitanya was there and he got to see that. He became very happy. But then after that, when Lord Jagannath retired after the ceremony, Lord Chaitanya became very unhappy because he could not see him. Is there a purport to that? Purport. After the bathing ceremony, Lord Jagannath, of Sri Jagannath, which takes place just a fortnight before the Rath Yatra ceremony, the body of the Lord Jagannath deity is repainted. And this takes just about a fortnight to complete. So who knows what a fortnight is? Who doesn't know what a fortnight is?
Video game,
It's a video game?
apparently. No, I know what it is.
Okay. So Preeta, do you know what a fortnight is?
Yeah, I think 2 weeks, right? 14 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something to do with the moon. What's the actual, like, from full moon to
New moon.
no moon, and then new moon to full moon? Anyway, yeah, 14 days. This period is called Anavasara. There are many who visit the temple to see Lord Jagannath regularly every day, and for them, his retirement after the bathing ceremony is unbearable. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt Lord Jagannath's absence from the temple very much. So this is a recurring theme that we find in the Caitanya Charitamrta and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Our whole purpose, this might seem kind of weird, but our purpose is to miss Krishna, to get to the point where we really miss Krishna. And you'll see throughout the Bhagavatam, Krishna comes, he's presented, they describe him with words, you feel like you're right there with Krishna, and then he leaves. And that goes on throughout the Bhagavatam. He's there, you feel really happy, and then he's gone. So that's where the Bhagavatam is trying to take us, to miss Krishna. And so we have a whole ceremony here just to miss Krishna. And so going to the temple and looking at where Jagannath usually would be standing, it's a shock, like it's empty. This is so weird. Okay, next verse. Due to separation from Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt the same great anxiety the gopis feel in separation from Krishna. In this condition, he gave up all association and went to Alalanath. The devotees who had followed the Lord came into his presence and requested him to return to Puri. They submitted that the devotees from Bengal were coming to Purushottama Kshetra. Okay, is everyone following this terminology, Purushottama Kshetra? Have you picked up on it by now that that's another name for Jagannath Puri? Also Nilachal. So there's 3 different names. There's also several different names given for Lord Chaitanya.
Niladri is also named for Jagannath Puri.
Oh, wow. Now I'm really confused.
That's what I call Niles.
Niladri.
Yeah.
What does Adri mean?
Hill, I think, but I could look it up. But
Okay, yeah.
or
That's
mountain.
It's Nilachala. That means the Blue Mountains. So I live near the Blue Ridge Mountains. And we made a kirtan recording and called it the Blue Ridge Mantras. You can look that one up. It's online. In this way, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya brought Lord Chaitanya back to Jagannath Puri. He then went to King Prataparudra and informed him of the Lord's arrival. Okay, so remember, Krishnadas was sent to Bengal. Go and tell all of the devotees that Lord Chaitanya is back. And he went back, and then as soon as Paramananda Puri heard Lord Chaitanya is in Puri, all right, I'm going. So he left. He took one devotee with him. Anyone remember the name? I remember it started with a K. Kamala Kanta, maybe? Something like that. So he went right away, and we read about him meeting with Lord Chaitanya again. Meanwhile, at Advaita Acharya's house, they had festivals for 3 nights. Everyone just gathering more and more devotees coming together. Then they left. And we're going to read about their journey, probably on other journeys. I forget if it's described in detail here. All right. So they're arriving. Lord Chaitanya has gone off to Alalanath, and they're saying, look, all your friends are coming from Navadvip. You need to come and greet them. So they bring him back to Puri that way. Go ahead, Matthew.
66.
That's right.
At this time, Gopinath Acharya came there while Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was with King Prataparudra. Being a Brahmin, he offered his benediction to the king and addressed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya as follows. About 200 devotees are coming from Bengal. All of them are greatly advanced and specifically devoted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All of them have already arrived on the bank of Lake Narendra and are waiting there. I desire residential quarters and prasadam arrangements for them.
All right. Remember when we looked on Google Maps and I showed you the journey from Navadvip to Puri? And then I said, here is the bathing tank that the devotees would stop at. And so that's Narendra. Go ahead and read the purport.
Okay. Narendra is a small lake still existing in Jagannath Puri where the Chandana Yatra festival takes place. Up to the present date, all the Bengali devotees who visit the Jagannath temple first take their bath in this lake. There they wash their hands and feet before entering the temple.
Oh, that little phrase. There, they wash their hands and feet before entering the temple. Anyone recognize that? There is, in the video, Prabhupada translating the books.
Oh,
He's saying that into the dictaphone.
cool.
That's in a couple of the documentaries about Prabhupada. So you can watch him dictating this purport. I'm glad we read this.
Yeah. The king replied, I shall give orders to the attendant in the temple. He will arrange for everyone's residential quarters and prasadam as you desire. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, please show me, one after another, all of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees who are coming from Bengal.
Suprita, are you ready to read? You look pretty relaxed.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested the king, go up on the roof of the palace. Gopinath Acharya knows every one of the devotees. He will identify them for you. Actually, I do not know any of them, although I have a desire to know them. Since Gopinath Acharya knows them all, he will give you their names. After Sarvabhauma said this, he went up to the top of the palace with the king and Gopinath Acharya. At this time, all the Vaishnava devotees from Bengal drew closer to the palace. Swarup Damodar and Govinda, taking the flower garlands and prasadam of Lord Jagannath proceeded where all the Vaishnavas were standing. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first sent those two persons in advance. The king inquired, "Who are these two? Please let me know their identities."
Okay, so who went with flower garlands?
Swarup Damodar and Govinda.
And who are they?
Govinda is the servant, and Swarup Damodar is the writer.
The secretary. And Swarup Damodar, let's see, they were friends in Navadvip. So Swarup Damodar is going to know a lot of these people. Govinda is a disciple of Ishwar Puri. I don't know if he would know them, but they were given flower garlands. Go and okay. So Lord Chaitanya sent those two persons in advance. The king inquired, "Who are those two? Please let me know their identities." Anandi, are you ready to read?
Yeah, are we on text 76?
That's right.
Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, "Here is Swarup Damodar, who is practically the second expansion of the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The second person is Govinda, Lord Chaitanya's personal servant. The Lord has sent garlands and remnants of Lord Jagannath's food with these two persons simply to honor the devotees from Bengal." At the beginning, Swarup Damodar came forward and garlanded Advaitacharya. Govinda next came and offered a second garland to Advaitacharya. When Govinda offered his obeisances by falling down flat before Advaitacharya, Advaitacharya asked Swarup Damodar about his identity, for he did not know Govinda at that time. Swarup Damodar informed him Govinda was the servant of Ishwara Puri. He is very highly qualified.
Oh, also another thing, Advaita Acharya is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So he is a godbrother of Govinda's guru, Ishwar Puri. And also Lord Chaitanya's guru. All right. Premi Bhakta, are you ready?
Yeah, what do we do? We're reading 5 at a time? Is that what it is?
Yes.
81. Ishvara Puri ordered Govinda to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thus the Lord keeps him by his side. The king inquired, "To whom did Swarup Damodar and Govinda offer the two garlands? His bodily effulgence is so great that he must be a very great devotee. Please let me know who he is." Gopinath Acharya replied, "His name is Advaita Acharya. He is honored even by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is therefore the topmost devotee. Here is Srivasa Pandita, Vakreshwar Pandita, Vidyanidhi Acharya, and Gadadhara Pandita. Here are Acharya Ratna, Purandara Pandita, Gangadasa Pandita, and Shankara Pandita.
Here are Murari Gupta, Pandit Narayan, and Haridas Thakur, the deliverer of the whole universe. Here is Hari Bhatta, and there is Nrsimhananda. Here are Vasudev Datta and Shivananda Sen. Here are Govinda Ghosh, Madhava Ghosh, and Vasudev Ghosh. They are three brothers, and their Sankirtan, congregational chanting, pleases the Lord very much. And there's a little purport. Govinda Ghosh belonged to the Kayastha dynasty of the Uttara Radhiya section, and he was known as Ghosh Thakur. Even to the present day, there's a place named Agaradweep near Katwa, where a fair takes place and is named after Ghosh Thakur. As far as Vasudev Ghosh is concerned, he composed many nice songs about Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and these are all authorized Vaishnav songs, like the songs of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Lochan Das Thakur, Govinda Das Thakur, and other great Vaishnavas.
So have you heard any songs by Vasudev Ghosh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's in the more songs by the Vaishnava Acharyas, that book that Dasarath Sutta put together. And I've heard recordings of Bengalis singing those, and now it's just not coming up. But his name is in there.
So
like
they're
babe.
not lost.
They're what?
They're not lost.
No. People are
Great.
still singing them.
Okay.
Okay, text 89. Here is Raghava Pandit. You're going to hear a story about him. Here is Nandanacharya. There is Sriman Pandit. And here are Sri Kanta and Narayan. And the purport says that you should respect all the associates of Lord Chaitanya. They are Nitya Siddhas, Nitya Siddha Korimani. Gopinath Acharya continued to point out the devotees. Here is Shuklambar, there is Sridhar, here is Vijaya, and there is Vallabhasen. Here is Purushottama, and there is Sanjaya. So this is a nice literary technique, because now you're seeing this through the eyes of King Prataparudra, who really wants to see Lord Chaitanya. And so he wants to, but he's realizing, first I need to meet all of the people that Lord Chaitanya loves. The way to approach the Lord is through the devotees. So first he wants to see all of the devotees. Okay, go ahead, Matthew. Text 91. Am I frozen?
I hear you.
Okay. Is Matthew frozen? I don't
It
see him.
appears so.
Oh no. What are we going to do?
Oh, he's gone.
Now he's gone. I guess he took that seriously about missing Krishna. He wanted us to miss him. Just at the moment. So what's the order? Who's next? Is Suprita next after him?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And here are all the residents of Kulina Grama, such as Satyaraja Khan and Ramananda. Indeed, all of them are present here. Please see. Here are Mukunda Das, Narahari, Sri Raghunandana, Chiranjeeva, and Sulochana, all residents of Khanda. How many names shall I speak to you? All the devotees you see here are associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is their life and soul. The king said, upon seeing all these devotees, I am very much astonished, for I have never seen such an effulgence. Indeed, their effulgence is like the brilliance of a million suns. Nor have I ever heard the Lord's names chanted so melodiously.
Teja is the word used for effulgence. Teja. What does that also mean? Doesn't it mean like power?
Yeah, right. Brahma Tejas.
So yeah, he's seeing the power and influence of these people. Matthew, what happened?
My internet is having issues.
Oh no. Okay, you want to read text, what is it, 96? Oh, wait a minute. Suprita, read this purport to 95. This looks interesting.
Okay. Such are the symptoms of pure devotees when they are chanting. All the pure devotees are as bright as sunshine. and their bodily luster is very effulgent. In addition, their performance of Sankirtana is unparalleled. There are many professional chanters who can perform congregational chanting with various musical instruments in an artistic and musical way, but their chanting cannot be as attractive as the congregational chanting of pure devotees. If a devotee sticks strictly to the principles governing Vaishnava behavior, his bodily luster will naturally be attractive, and his singing and chanting of the holy names of the Lord will be effective. People will appreciate such kirtana without hesitation. Even dramas about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya or Sri Krishna should be played by devotees. Such dramas will immediately interest an audience and be full of potency. The students of International Society for Krishna Consciousness should note these 2 points and try to apply these principles in their spreading of the Lord's glories.
Bright as sunshine. All the pure devotees are as bright as sunshine, and their bodily luster is very effulgent. Okay, go ahead, Matthew.
I have never before seen such ecstatic love, nor heard the vibration of the holy name of the Lord chanted in such a way, nor seen such dancing during Sankirtan.
All right, we have to read this purport. Go ahead.
Because the temple of Lord Jagannath is situated at Jagannath Puri, many devotees from all parts of the world came to perform Sankirtan in glorification of the Lord. All these devotees were certainly seen and heard by Maharaj Prataparudra, but he herein admits that the kirtan performed by the associates of the Lord was unique. He had never before heard such Sankirtan, nor seen such attractive features manifest by the devotees. The members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness should go to India during the birthday ceremony of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Mayapur and perform Sankirtan congregationally. This will attract the attention of all the important personalities in India, just as the beauty, bodily luster, and Sankirtan performance by the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attracted the attention of Maharaj Prataparudra. The associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were unlimited during the Lord's presence on this planet, but anyone who is pure in life and devoted to the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to be understood as a Nitya Siddha, associate of the Lord. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, "This sweet transcendental sound is a special creation of the Lord known as Prema Sankirtan, congregational chanting in love of Godhead. In this age of Kali, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended to preach the religion of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the chanting of the holy names of Lord Krishna is the religious principle for this age. Anyone who worships Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by congregational chanting should be understood to be very intelligent. One who does not do so must be considered a victim of this age and bereft of all intelligence." In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions.
I wonder how many times that verse gets quoted in Caitanya Caritamrta. It is used quite a few times. All right, Anandi, are you ready?
Sure. The king said, according to evidence given in the revealed scriptures, it is concluded that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself. Why then are learned scholars sometimes indifferent to him? The Bhattacharya replied, a person who has received but a small fraction of mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand that he is Lord Krishna. No one else can.
I think we have to read this purport. This looks pretty good.
The Sankirtan movement can be spread by a person who is especially favored by Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna Shakti Vindi Mahatara Pravatana. Without first obtaining the mercy of the Lord, one cannot spread the holy name of the Lord. One who can spread the Lord's name is called Labda Caitanya, in the words of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. The Labda Caitanya is one who has actually awakened his original consciousness, Krishna consciousness. The influence of the pure devotees in Krishna consciousness is such that it can awaken others to become immediately Krishna conscious and engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of Krishna. In this way, the descendants of pure devotees increase, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes much pleasure in seeing the increase of his devotees. The word Sumedasa means sharply intelligent. When one's intelligence is sharp, he can increase the interest of common men in loving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and through him in loving Radha Krishna. Those not interested in understanding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are simply material in their attempts at professional chanting and dancing for money, despite their supposed artistry. If one does not have full faith in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he cannot properly chant and dance in the Sankirtan movement. Artificial chanting and dancing may be due to sentiments or sentimental agitation, but this cannot help one advance in Krishna consciousness.
So when we read this back in 1976, we thought, who's going to imitate the Hare Krishnas? Artificial chanting, like in order to get famous and wealthy. It just seemed like such a crazy thing. Are you kidding? But it goes on in India. People, professional kirtans, professional Bhagavatam reciters, all of this just seems so foreign to us. Nowadays, we have a pretty good following of devotees in America. And yeah, if someone's really good at it, they could make a pretty good living just by doing artificial chanting and dancing. What's that? What about that movie, she's asking? Oh, in India. Oh, Mahara's asking, what about that movie in India? Dum Maro Dum, Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Bolo Subhasham, Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Suprita, do you know that song?
Yeah.
You do?
I know. Everybody knows it, who's been to India.
Yeah.
We want to see a video of you singing that one.
No.
Mahara says, no, don't do it.
Okay, Mati.
Anandi's all about it, though. So artificial chanting and dancing may be due to sentiments or sentimental agitation, but this cannot help one advance in Krishna consciousness. So what's he saying that, okay, Bhattacharya replied, a person who has received but a small fraction of mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand that he is Lord Krishna. No one else can. Does anyone remember what the question was? Anybody? I bet Premi Bhakti knows. I want to hear from him.
Well, wasn't he talking about Prem Samkirtan that the devotees were doing? That he'd never heard that before. Such ecstatic. and devotional song or chanting of the Lord's holy names.
Yep, that's what they were talking about. But then they quoted, he went off on a whole thing quoting that verse about Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedasha.
All right, the 11th canto.
He asked another question. So anyone remember?
He's saying, why is it that learned scholars sometimes are not into the whole Chaitanya thing?
Yeah. Prataparudra said, Lord Chaitanya is definitely Krishna, according to scriptures. But some people don't accept that. Why is that? And so here, the Bhattacharya replied, a person who has received but a small fraction of mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand that he is Lord Krishna. No one else can. And Sarvabhauma, remember who told him that in the first place? Well, maybe you won't remember because you got to read it a few times through to catch everything. But Gopinath Acharya told him this very same thing, and Sarvabhauma was like, you guys are just fanatics. And so now he has become the, I don't know, what's a better word than fanatic, a gentler word? Anandi, you're the English major.
Sorry, I'm asleep.
Oh,
I'm half
no.
asleep. I'm sorry.
They worked you too hard today.
No, I couldn't sleep last night. I'm sorry. I was up all night.
In what sense better than fanatic? Worse, you mean more devoted?
Yeah, gentle, friendly way.
Oh,
enthusiastic. We'll say that.
Gullible?
No.
That'd be
He
worse
wasn't
than
at all
fanatic.
gullible. Actually, he was.
They're very. I'm not saying they were. I'm just trying to think of words.
Okay. All right. He's enthusiastic. He's become a supporter of Lord Chaitanya. So now he's quoting all the things that were thrown at him.
An aficionado.
Chaitanya groupie.
There you go. Aficionado.
Aficionado.
That's Spanish, but anyway, it's not English.
Or as Anandi would say, a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu girl.
Groupie.
Groupie. There you go.
In a modern sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. Let's see. We're out of sequence. And did Matthew just read or who's
Where are we? I was reading and he told me to read the purport, but now I don't know where we are.
Okay, text 103.
103?
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. Okay. If the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not bestowed upon a person, regardless of how learned a scholar that person may be, and regardless of his
Regardless of his seeing or listening, he cannot accept.
Lord Chaitanya as the supreme personality.
Oh boy. Now even your internet is getting sleepy.
Sorry.
Okay. And then, wow, Sarvabhauma quotes the same verse that Gopinath Acharya quoted to him. You want to try reading that one, Anandi?
103?
104.
Oh, Lord Brahma said, my Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the supreme personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. The king said, instead of visiting the temple of Lord Jagannath, all the devotees are running toward the residence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
And Premi Bhakta, I think it's your turn now.
Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, "This is spontaneous love. All the devotees are very anxious to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu." 107. First, the devotees will meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then take him with them to the temple to see Lord Jagannath. The king said, the son of Bhavananda Rai, named Vaninath, along with 5 or 7 other men, went there to obtain the remnants of Lord Jagannath's food. Indeed, Vaninatha has already gone to the residence of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and has taken a huge quantity of Mahaprasadam. Please let me know the reason for this. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, understanding that all the devotees have come, Lord Chaitanya gave the sign, and therefore Vaninath and the others have brought such great quantities of Mahaprasadam.
The king then asked the Bhattacharya, why have the devotees not observed the regulations for visiting the pilgrimage place, such as fasting, shaving, and so on? Why have they first eaten prasadam? The Bhattacharya told the king, what you have said is right, according to the regulative principles concerning governing the visiting of holy places. But there is another path, which is the path of spontaneous love. According to those principles, there are subtle intricacies involved in the execution of religious principles. Premi Bhakta, you want to read the purport?
112. Purport. According to the Vedic regulative principles, one has to be celibate before entering a holy place of pilgrimage. Generally, people are very much addicted to sense gratification, and unless they have sex at night, they cannot sleep. The regulative principles therefore enjoin that before a common man goes to a holy place of pilgrimage, he should observe complete celibacy. As soon as one enters a holy place, he must observe fasting for the day, and after shaving his head clean, he must take a bath in a river or ocean near the holy place. These methods are adopted to neutralize the effects of sinful activities. Visiting a holy place of pilgrimage means neutralizing the reactions of a sinful life. Those who go to holy places of pilgrimage actually unload the reactions of their sinful lives, and consequently, holy places are overloaded with sinful activities left there by visitors. When a saintly person or pure devotee visits such a holy place, he absorbs the sinful effects left by the common man and again purifies the holy place. Tirti kurvanti tirtani, Bhagavatam 1:13-10. Therefore, a common man's visit to a holy place and an exalted, saintly person's visit there are different. The common man leaves his sins in the holy place, and a saintly person or devotee cleanses these sins simply by his presence. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were not common men, and they could not be subjected to the rules and regulations governing the visiting of holy places. Rather, they exhibited their spontaneous love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Immediately upon arrival at the holy place, they went to see Lord Chaitanya, and by his order, they took Mahaprasadam without following the regulations governing holy places.
Text 113. The scriptural injunctions for shaving and fasting are indirect orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, when there is a direct order from the Lord to take prasadam, naturally the devotees take prasadam as their first duty. When Mahaprasadam is not available, there must be fasting. But when the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly orders one to take prasadam, neglecting such an opportunity is offensive. Who's speaking here? Is this Gopinath Acharya or Sarvabhauma?
Sarvabhauma.
Sarvabhauma. Okay. And remember the incident where Lord Chaitanya brought him prasadam. Early in the morning, he hadn't bathed, he hadn't said his prayers, he hadn't done anything yet. And he just took the prasad, and that was like Lord Chaitanya felt. Well, he made some speech. Today I have conquered the world because Sarvabhauma understands what this is all about. And so now he's repeating those same things to King Prataparudra. He's speaking from experience. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing prasadam with his transcendental hand, who will neglect such an opportunity and accept the regulative principle of fasting? Go ahead, Matthew.
Previously, the Lord gave me Mahaprasadam rice one morning, and I ate it just sitting on my bed without even having washed my mouth. The man to whom the Lord shows his mercy by inspiring him within the heart takes shelter only of Lord Krishna and abandons all Vedic and social customs. When one is inspired by the Lord, who is sitting in everyone's heart, he does not care for social custom or Vedic regulative principles. After this, King Prataparudra came down from the top of his palace to the ground and called for Kashi Mishra and the inspector of the temple. Maharaj Prataparudra then told both Kashi Mishra and the temple inspector, "Provide all the devotees and associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with comfortable residences, convenient eating facilities for prasadam, and convenient visiting arrangements at the temple, so that there will not be any difficulty."
The orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be carefully carried out. Although the Lord may not give direct orders, you are still to carry out his desires simply by understanding his indications. Saying this, the king gave them permission to leave. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also went there to see the assembly of all the Vaishnavas. From a distant place, Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya watched the meeting of all the Vaishnavas with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Beginning from the right side of the lion gate, or the main gate of the temple, all the Vaishnavas began to proceed toward the house of Kashi Mishra.
Anandi?
In the meantime, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, accompanied by his personal associates, met all the Vaishnavas on the road with great jubilation. First, Advaitacharya offered prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord immediately embraced him in ecstatic love. Displayed agitation due to ecstatic love. Seeing the time and circumstance, however, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained patient. After this, all the devotees, headed by Srivas Thakur, offered prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord embraced each and every one of them in great love and ecstasy. The Lord addressed all the devotees one after another and took all of them with him into the house. Sorry, I'm going to have to run. Hare
Okay.
Krishna to all of you.
Hare Krishna, thank you for joining.
Hare
Sorry
Krishna.
about this. Hare Krishna.
So these were all people from his village. They hadn't seen him for a long time. He was now like a world traveler, going on his South Indian tour and come back. And then, so it's a pretty emotional event. Sarvabhauma and Gopinath Acharya are watching from a distance. And when I read that, it reminded me of a story, somebody that I met in India. He was from Italy. And he joined in, like, I forget what year, 73, somewhere around then. And yeah, it was a whole story about how he joined. He went to a monastery. He was looking for God. and lived in a monastery for a while. And then he thought, you guys, you're not serious enough. So he moved into the really serious monastery. What's the real serious one there in Italy? The really, anyway, he mentioned the name and I'd heard of it.
Assisi, you're talking about? It's the only one I know.
It could be. Franciscan monks.
Yeah, Franciscans.
These guys really take on some heavy austerities. And so he was there. He lived with them for a while. But even there, he felt they're not answering my questions. And he kept asking questions, and they said, you're asking too many questions. And he said, I'm just going to have to go outside then. I'm just going to have to go on my own. You people don't have the answers. So he was really sad. He left, and then he was riding a bus somewhere, and he met a devotee. And like in 5 minutes, the devotee answered all of his questions. And he followed that devotee to the temple. And that devotee talked with him for 2 more hours. And he just felt like, at last, I've found this. I'm moving in. He moved in, and Prabhupada was arriving there in just 2 weeks. And he said his job was to stand up on the roof and watch for the car bringing Prabhupada. And as soon as that car appears, he's supposed to blow on a conch shell to signal everybody get ready for the reception. And he said he watched all of the devotees when they saw Prabhupada. They each and every one of them started crying, and he thought, this is just so sentimental, and I'm not sentimental, and I'm just brand new. I've only been here 2 weeks. But then when he got close to Prabhupada, he started crying too. So that's like the teja that, like King Prataparudra mentioned. I've never seen devotees with so much teja, so much power. So just by seeing Prabhupada, he started crying, and everybody was crying, and they were having a kirtan, and it was just all wet. The Sanskrit term like a week or so. Were you able to hear me? It said my connection. Okay.
Yeah.
Prabhupada stayed with them for like a week or so. And he said he was a new devotee. You know, he would sit there for class and listen to Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada was in the courtyard with the senior devotees that had come from all over Europe to talk with Prabhupada. And he was upstairs in like the, what do you call that? Not the porch, but, you know, whatever it is. But looking out.
Balcony?
The balcony, yeah. He's looking out at Prabhupada in the garden, talking with the devotees. And from his point of view, he just saw it and he thought, these people are so pure. This is just like watching Jesus with his disciples. And he just watched the way Prabhupada was dealing with them. So I'm thinking about that. King Prataparudra saw it like that. Sarvabhauma, he's also, these are all new people to him. And so he's watching how they all exchange with Lord Caitanya.
What was the name of this Italian devotee?
I recorded the interview. It's in those interviews on my SoundCloud page. And he's been a brahmachari for a long time. And he's about to take sannyas. So whatever the name is, it's about to change.
Okay.
But I'm
I
surprised.
didn't know too many people in Italy, though.
Yeah. But he's pretty well known. I put that up, and a lot of people listened to that interview. Okay, yeah, and he told the story much better than I did. There was some problems. His mother kind of freaked out that he had moved into the temple, and he said, you've never seen anything until you've seen a mother, an Italian mother, who was upset with someone. Uh, she was crying at the temple and trying to get me back.
Maybe a Jewish mother, but
Yeah, similar, but more pitiable. What's the word? Pitiable, pitiful. But she went and talked to the other monks at the other monasteries, and they had very high regard for the devotees, and so that kind of helped her to accept it. All right, 131, Matthew.
Since the residence of Kashi Mishra was insufficient, all the assembled devotees were very much overcrowded. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made all the devotees sit at his side, and with his own hand he offered them garlands and sandalwood pulp. After this, Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya met all the Vaishnavas at the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a befitting manner. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addressed Advaita Acharya Prabhu, saying sweetly, "My dear sir, today I have become perfect because of your arrival." Advaita Acharya Prabhu replied, "This is a natural characteristic of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is personally complete and full of all opulences, he takes transcendental pleasure in the association of his devotees, with whom he has a variety of eternal pastimes."
Advaita Acharya Prabhu replied, "This is a natural characteristic of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is personally complete and full in all opulences, he takes transcendental pleasure in the association of his devotees, with whom he has a variety of eternal pastimes." As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Vasudeva Datta, the older brother of Mukunda Datta, he immediately became very happy, and placing his hand on his body, began to speak. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Although Mukunda is my friend from childhood, I nonetheless take greater pleasure in seeing you than in seeing him." Vasudeva replied, "Mukunda got your association in the beginning. As such, he has taken shelter at your lotus feet. That is his transcendental rebirth." Thus Vasudeva Datta admitted his inferiority to Mukunda, his young brother. "Although Mukunda is my junior," he said, "he first received your favor. Consequently, he became transcendently senior to me. Besides that, you very much favored Mukunda. Thus he is superior in all good qualities."
the Lord said, "For your sake only, I have brought 2 books from South India. The books are being kept with Swarupa Damodar, and you can get them copied." Hearing this, Vasudeva became very glad. Indeed, each and every Vaishnava copied the 2 books. By and by, the 2 books, the Brahma Samhita and Shri Krishna Caritamrta, were broadcast all over India. The Lord addressed Srivasa and his brothers with great love and affection, saying, "I am so obliged that I am purchased by you 4 brothers." Srivasa then replied to the Lord, "Why are you speaking in a contradictory way? Rather, we 4 brothers have been purchased by your mercy."
After seeing Shankar,
One
Lord Sri
second.
Chaitanya. Yeah,
I just want to say something. In
yeah,
text 143, it says the Vaishnavas copied the 2 books. I heard from Avanendra Prabhu that at that time there was no photocopy or printing out a book, right? So
right.
devotees would actually write it
Yeah,
by hand, and that's so cool.
yeah, they had to write it by hand. Um,
On palm leaves.
yeah, or there might be some other things, but yeah, palm leaves was the pretty standard thing. Karnamrita, whose house I'm staying at, when he was a brahmachari, he joined in San Francisco in 1968 or 69. And a couple years later, so early 70s, he wrote down the whole Bhagavad Gita by hand. Wrote down the whole Bhagavad Gita, Sanskrit and English. And we used to read a chapter of Gita together every evening. And he would bring that with him and sometimes read from that. That's a nice thing to have, just your own handwritten copy after all these
My
years.
mom does that a lot. She has like books. She keeps writing stuff that she reads. Like I'm like, what are you writing now? She just keeps writing and writing, and she has more notebooks than I do. I did as a student.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing that too. I fill these up with all kinds of notes. But these are just thoughts. When I have a thought or somebody says something funny or something interesting, I'll write it down. But yeah, in those days, imagine how you have a book that you wrote. You wrote it down and you're going to hold on to that. It's going to mean so much more to you. Maybe we should do that. Write a Bhagavad Gita and read from it every day. Your own handwritten copy. That'd be pretty good. You should do it now while you're young and have good handwriting. And it'll be something that you will treasure, and your grandchildren will treasure that.
When I was working, my working days, I had a little notepad that I kept in my pocket. And every day I would do the Devanagari, the Sanskrit word for word translation, not the purport. But so when I would be traveling around, I'd try to memorize. So I ended up doing the whole Gita, and it was like 12 different little notepads.
Do you still have those?
Yeah, I have them here. They asked me to give kind of a little workshop on how to study the Gita in Chicago a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, this is one of the ways I did it. It's like,
yeah.
And just by writing it, I treasure those.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
where they are. They're downstairs in my library.
Feel free to do it now. It'll last your whole life. Get yourself a good book. And you too, Matthew. You're still young. You still have all your hair and all your fingers.
He's a surgeon. He doesn't have time.
We're all bowing down,
Yeah.
showing our bald spots.
Okay. But anyway, that would be something nice. Matthew, you could do just the English if you want, or the Sanskrit and English. Whatever.
But that's something I do, is I read a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's special benedictions, I guess you could say, or special benefits from doing that.
Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
to read a chapter a day.
Yeah.
We've been doing that. We went through the Gita 4 times.
Yeah. So like, well, I stick with a chapter for a whole month. Like right now I'm reading chapter 11 every day.
Oh, really? Whoa.
And things come up,
Yeah.
you start noticing things. You get into it deeper and deeper, and things come up, and you really get to know the chapter really good.
Yeah. Just like
Do
when
you purport too?
No, I just read. Of course, I've read the whole Bhagavad Gita, cover to cover, purports and everything. at least, I don't know, in English 13 times, Spanish once, French once. But it's, you know, I love the Bhagavad Gita. It's great. You know, you can never get tired of it. There's so much in there.
All of these books.
Right, exactly.
And the Bhagavatam, just going through these readings with 3 or 4 different groups. And like, wow, with each group, it's just going through it again and again. And every time new stuff comes up. Okay, I'm trying to read Suprita's shirt. What are you advertising today?
Oh, hug trees, plant seeds, save the butterflies and bees.
Okay. All right. We're talking about writing more books, using up paper and ink. But that's creating a memory. All right. Shall we read a little bit more? Let's just zip through one more time. Whose turn is it? Is it my turn now? I think it is.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, they're all 200 of them are packed into the little tiny room at the Gambhir at Kashi Mishra's house. Srivas is saying, why are you speaking in such a contradictory way? We 4 brothers have been purchased by your mercy. After seeing Shankar, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Damodar, my affection for you is on the platform of awe and reverence. Therefore, keep your younger brother Shankar with you because he is connected to me by pure, unalloyed love. Damodar Pandit replied, Shankar is my younger brother, but from today, he becomes my elder brother because of your special mercy upon him. Then turning toward Shivananda Sain, the Lord said, I know that from the very beginning your affection for me has been very great. Immediately upon hearing this, Shivananda Sain became absorbed in ecstatic love and fell down on the ground, offering obeisances to the Lord. He then began to recite the following verse.
O my Lord, O unlimited one, although I was merged in the ocean of nescience, I have now, after a long time, attained you, just as one may attain the seashore. My dear Lord, by getting me, you have obtained the right person upon whom to bestow your causeless mercy. Murari Gupta at first did not meet the Lord, but rather remained outside the door, falling down like a stick to offer obeisances. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not see Murari amongst the devotees, he inquired about him. Thereupon, many people immediately went to Murari, running to take him to the Lord. Thus, Murari Gupta, catching two bunches of straw in his teeth, went before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with humility and meekness. On seeing Murari come to meet him, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went up to him, but Murari began to run away and speak as follows.
My Lord, please do not touch me. I am most abominable and I am not fit for you to touch because my body is sinful. The Lord said, my dear Murari, please restrain your humility. My mind is disturbed to see your meekness. Saying this, the Lord embraced Murari and had him sit down by his side. The Lord then began to cleanse his body with his own hands. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then again embraced all the devotees, including Acharya Ratna, Vidyanidhi, Pandita Gadadhara, Gangadasa, Haribhatta, and Acharya Purandara. The Lord described their good qualities and glorified them again and again.
After thus offering respect to each and every devotee, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very jubilant. However, not seeing Haridasa Thakura, he inquired, "Where is Haridasa?" Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then saw in the distance that Haridasa Thakura was lying down flat on the road offering obeisance. Haridasa Thakura did not come to the Lord's meeting place, but remained fallen flat on the common road at a distance. All the devotees then went to Haridasa Thakura, saying, "The Lord wants to meet you. Please come immediately." Haridasa Thakura replied, "I cannot go near the temple because I am a low caste, abominable person. I have no authority to go there."
Okay, read this purport and then we'll have to stop here with Haridas Thakur.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Although Haridasa Thakura was such a highly exalted Vaishnava that he was addressed as Haridasa Goswami, he still did not like to disturb the common sense of the general populace. Haridasa Thakura was so exalted that he was addressed as Thakura and Gosanyi, and these titles are offered to the most advanced Vaishnavas. Spiritual masters generally called Gosanyi, and Thakura is used to address the Paramahamsas, those in the topmost rank of spirituality. Nonetheless, Haridasa Thakura did not want to go near the temple, although he was called there by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. The Jagannatha temple still accepts only those Hindus who are in the Varnashrama order. Other castes, especially those who are not Hindu, are not allowed to enter the temple. This is a long-standing regulation, and thus Haridasa Thakura, although certainly competent and qualified to enter the temple, did not want even to go near it. This is called Vaishnava humility.
All right.
Haridasa Thakura ki jai.
Tomorrow we'll start at 165.
I won't be here tomorrow. I've got my Spanish group.
Oh. Okay.
Just Thursdays is the only day I got open. What about weekends? You do it on the weekends too?
Oh yeah, we're nonstop.
Did you say Spanish group?
Yeah.